we are going to hop into champs like Nidalee, already being banned away. A little bit popular on this new 5.2 patch. Could actually be a ban focused on Cacao, but we'll never know, as she is on the ban list. Annie taken away as well, and could be a respect ban for Looper there in the top side.
Respect ban. I'll smile sweetly to that one, but it's the flex picks in both of them, though. We have to respect, now that he's played it twice, that it could potentially be the Annie top. We've seen great success in the last series from Mako on that Annie support. And the flex pick of Nidalee, that's the big new thing in 5.2, is that jungle Nidalee is a thing, and it's a thing to be feared. The damage ganks coming from with those spears from 1100, 1200 range into that melee range assassination is real, and it's just so different. It kind of warps your playstyle as the enemy jungler and as laners to have such a long range skill shot be something extra to think about. It's a smart dual ban right there. In fact, the only Nidalee we've seen so far was a mid Nidalee, but the flexibility of that champion pick, it's good to ban it out.
Very much is. Standard bans coming through next up, though. Jarvan going to be taken off the board, as is Cassidy. Cassidy, you just can't let him onto the Rift. No. Here in China especially.
No, they try the damage nerf, they try the reworks, and Cassidy perseveres. He's a lot of strength of spirit in that champion, you'd have to say.
Strength of R button is, I believe, what we'd call it. But we do have M3 taking a little time here for their last ban. Want to make the right decision. They are going to be targeting kitties with that Janna, and a little bit of a standard throwaway ban here. You just don't want to see her on the Rift.
Yeah, it's not a specific ban. I mean, IG, they played a lot of different comps, you know, especially Rookie pulled out the Yasuo, was mixing around his champion pool. There's not a standout champion, I'd say, from last week's play that really was a cornerstone of their comps. And again, we've jumped to 5.2, and champion viability's taken a big warp since then. So, makes sense with the safe ban, but what are they angling for on the blue side with this first pick? That's my question mark here. It's been a consistent trend that the first game of a series, a team will pick up a strong first pick, and then there'll be two very strong picks available on the red side, and that's the trap you don't want to fall into on blue side.
Yeah, but Nara is going to be the final ban here. We are going to see what could potentially come through. Lissandra, though, slipped through that pick ban phase. And Lupo going to be hovering that one, and I would not be surprised if it is locked away, as it is. And Lupa could be taking that into the top lane, but Dade might be picking that up for the mid.
Yeah, no big adjustments to Lissandra coming through in those patches. Is still very, very strong. Of course, has that respectable damage. It's wonderful CC if you get that 40% CDR right there. So it's a safe pick. It's a flex pick. We've seen so many flex picks banned away. Smart first pickup.
Yep, intelligent moves. Meanwhile, on the other side, Thresh and Lee Sin being taken away, and Cacao, of course, we're flashing back here to OGN Winter 2014 when he played one of the most amazing Lee Sin games I've ever seen in my life in that tournament. It was incredible. And Thresh, now that Janna's been taken off the board, sort of the top tier support.
There were echoes of that amazing Cacao Lee Sin play last week when, of course, he farmed it out on that Lee Sin until level 6. We're wondering, where's the skirmish pressure? Where's Cacao's jungle pressure? But of course, they had that Yasuo synergy, and he played out team fight Lee Sin like no one I've seen before, with a wonderful display for them dismantling IG that series. So Cacao's Lee Sin, it's not quite what we remember from the past, but still so effective.
Yeah, very, very strong. Able to get those Dragon Rage kicks across the whole team, and now IG looking to sort of finalize their comp here a little bit, maybe leave that mid lane available for Rookie to counterpick, and Kid, he's looking at a Corki, and this could open up Rookie for a potential AD assassin there in the mid lane.
It will. I mean, you see the Vias picked up by Dreams on the M3 side, their new jungler here. You kind of have to go for that escape AD carry. It's kind of a blocker pick for Kalista, which we actually saw Kalista bans in the last series and first pick Kalistas, so it makes sense to open up a blocker pick. You don't really... There's been a lot of respect shown to those Kalista picks right there, so I do like it there. Pokemon is going to pick up that Maokai, but Lupa, of all people in the LPL, does have a counter pick ready for this. We could see the Singed come out here, but they could just stick with the Lissandra top, of course.
Yeah, of course, Dade does have the option of taking that Lissandra into the mid lane, but Azir is being looked at, and Dade has been favoring that champion regardless of mixed success on the Birdman. Candy looking at a Sivir as well, so we might have a Kalista-less game.
Oh, you might actually see Kalista fall through, which would be a surprise, like you say.
Yeah.
With the Lissandra locked in, it's not really a Dade champion, so it makes sense to pick up the Azir. Actually, Azir, I would say, has been his strongest performing champion so far. And if they're going to stick with that and just have kind of the even wave-clearing matchup in the top lane, so be it.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of persistent damage. What with that Ricochet going through a whole team, plus Lissandra going into stasis, doing so much work with her relatively short cooldowns, not to mention Azir, who's just a dominating force as far as persistent damage is concerned. And Dreams, he can start it off with that Assault and Battery.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much initiation and long-range control. You see, Lissandra can get to the backline. Of course, Vi is all about getting to the backline. They have a lot of movement speed here, but I feel like Azir may be the one that struggles, because Azir's best when the enemy team is coming into his Sand Souls. When they're coming into him, his disengage, especially with that Emperor's Divide, is very powerful. Of course, you can go the Zhonya's and have the initiation flavor. It's something we see Pawn often do for EDG.
Yep.
And it might have to be initiation just because this team on M3 is all about going in. So that's why it makes so much sense to see the last big Xerath come through.
Yeah, and Xerath has seen so much success in lane against these Azirs as well. We've seen sort of this Shurima flavor coming through quite often, and Xerath, he would have the winning win rate.
Absolutely. I mean, the long range there from Xerath just denies a lot of what Azir's about. Azir's about denying those short to mid-lane ranged carries from being able to just pick up farm, just because he can poke you off so well from surprisingly long range. A bit like old Orianna on release when she had just so much area of denial. Azir's the same, but Xerath has so much range. He can farm so safely when he picks up that AP that he just splits that lane, and in the late game, range is king. In the late game, being able to be so safe behind the tanky Pokemon, behind the Thresh box, probably going to be a disengaged Lee Sin flavor out of Cacao this time, because we don't have the obvious Yasuo ult synergy right there. It's going to be so difficult to get to this backline of Corki and Xerath with so much zone control in front of them.
Yeah, not to mention, this Maokai coming through, the Flays to come down from Kitties as well. There's disengage and teamfight control more than anything else. And Kid's going to be doing a lot of damage in an AoE, what with those rockets. And when you pair him up with Rookie, who's going to be having so much ranged pressure with these Arcano pulses coming through from, the back line, it's going to be terrifying for M3 to come through with that one, because they've got a difficult siege.
And the mid game is going to be king here. If we see this Corki grouping in fights, there's no true tank on M3's side. It's going to be more damage-based Vi. No true really frontline tanky person to eat that AoE coming out from Corki. They're going to struggle to keep him down if he gets ahead.
Yeah, not to mention if they muck around a little bit, but we are going to hop onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. And here we are with M3 taking on IG for Game 1 here in the LPL for Week 5. And M3 going to be on our blue side, and our red side going to be taken up by Invictus Gaming. And we'll see whether there's any funny business. But at the moment, looks like just a defensive fan for both of our teams.
For once in these games, there's no real team that's kind of priced in to look for a lane. So we've got very even matchups across the board right here. Corki would prefer to dodge Sivir, but is actually very good in lane against that Sivir with the ability to use that spell shield against a lot of her abilities right there. So it's very even in the bot lane.
Yeah, Candy going to have double spell shields there in that bot side with that black shield available from Love CD as well. So Phosphorus Bomb going to have to do a little bit more work getting through to damage this Sivir. But as you mentioned, I mean, both similar range there on the bottom side, and with Kid putting a lot of damage into that Phosphorus Bomb as far as trade potential, it is quite difficult here against a Sivir, but lower cooldown than that spell shield.
Yeah, Corki is really strong at level 1 here just because his poke. Obviously there's no spell shield available at level 1, so you can get the poke, you can get the trades in. But once the wave clear comes up for Candy, it's so difficult for Kid to balance harass with wave clear. If he gets really wave clear and has to use his mana on clearing with the Phosphorus Bomb right there, that's kind of where Sivir wins, is that if she can really position aggressively, get the autos in, and then spell shield the Phosphorus Bomb, her trading is just so much more advantageous compared to the Corkis.
Oh yeah, and I am going to skip ahead just a little bit here towards that Baron, because we do have a change coming through in 5.2. Baron doing far less damage, and I think that's very relevant in sort of this Baron-focused meta of the LPL.
I mean, it's a big factor for M3 right here, because they don't have the tanky stats to eat up the old Baron, like you say right there. If they're able to take the Baron freer with so many damage threats, of course, doing very relevant damage to those neutrals here as Dreams, that could be a big factor as we skip into the game, but still 18 minutes for the Baron spawn. It's going to be a much bigger factor later on.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. You, of course, can't take that until it spawns onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, as Invictus Gaming getting pushed in here early on, as is wont to happen by Candy on this Sivir, with access to, of course, that W ability, that Ricochet. Pokemon taking a bit of harass here from Lupo.
It's just a standard wave clear in the top lane right here. It's double AP, so Pokemon will be able to itemize very effectively in bottom.
Candy gonna go down for first blood, and that's a 2v2 that Invictus Gaming dominate.
You just don't often see a straight 2v2 kill come out there, but Kids Corki, we didn't even speak about it in Champions Select, has been the cornerstone of so many IG victories so far this season. And for them to pick up a 2v2 kill on Candy, it's going to be difficult for Sivir in this lane.
And we haven't spoken about Candy either. Of course, favors that Tristana, and she's been completely reworked now. Maybe a little bit less comfortable on the Sivir, but, you know, she's a priority pick. She's a pick that everyone knows how to play, as Rookie gets a lot of harass from Dade. And the bottom side of the map going fantastically for Invictus Gaming, but the mid lane looking like Dade's managing to push back here against Rookie.
And going definitely very standard in the mid lane. And top, I kind of worry for M3 right here, just because it's double AP against a Maokai who can itemize very well against the threats right here, and Sivir always struggles to bust a big tank. Even if he opts into a bit of health, focuses on magic resist, going to be super effective, this Maokai, unless he's targeted out repeatedly from Dreams.
Yeah, we'll see whether that is going to be the focus. We don't quite know where Dreams is going to be heading on this map. Of course, that Vault Breaker, fantastic early on for a lot of extra damage, plus that mini knock-up for some CC. But we'll see what he does decide to do. He might want to power farm towards that level 6 mark. He has picked up that Trailblazer.
It is Lupa on the Lissandra top, so she does have a lot of gap close and CC, so the damage ganks from Vi, even pre-6, might be really effective because there is the lockdown coming out from the lane. So there is potential for those top ganks, but you can fall into a trap when you're playing Vi of power farming to 6 and just not paying attention to your lanes, and they can't allow Maokai to get big.
Not to mention, if Dreams comes down to that bottom side, he could come through with that black shield and ignore all of the CC from Kitties as he makes his way towards Kid. And unless he lands a really nice phosphorus bomb to really get rid of that shield, things could be quite difficult down there. But we'll see what decision he does want to make and what response Cacao is going to have, because of course he's on Lee Sin, an early pressure jungler, and we've seen him sort of want to stay back, farm up his items, and then really get going towards the mid-game.
And look, he's been making it work, and that's why I'll credit Cacao, is that I'm so used to seeing the massive pressure from Lee Sin level 3, level 4. That's always the order of the game, and he's been so much more measured with his Lee Sin builds. He's been really focusing on that earlier warrior enchantment before he picks up the Sightstone, and what that says to me is that he's looking to duel in the mid game. So maybe he just wants to farm up that big damage power spike. Lee Sin scales so well with the Brutalizer that the warrior builds out of right there for early damage and accentuate those early trades. They won't have the same vision control in the enemy jungle, but still will be very, very strong in duels that will be Cacao.
Oh yeah. But in the meantime, looking at the mid lane, it's not a similar situation here. This is doing fantastically well. Actually a head-on farm as the wave gets pushed in towards Rookie. Looking great here for Dade, and he may have actually had a long, hard look at himself, because Thing sort of hasn't been able to bring M3 to the fore like he would have otherwise wanted to, being this star player coming onto the side. I
mean, the mindset for Dade is always something we wonder about, just what he's looking to achieve on this team. He's such a great mid laner. He consistently throughout 2014 really performed, but he struggled in his LPL debut. Is that communication? Is that the meta not favoring him? I guess we'll find out over the course of 44 games, but the only thing that really stands out in the first 14 or so is that he's just struggling in the mid lane.
He is a little bit, but we'll see whether he's going to turn it around for this one. Kid is going to head back to base now, has 50 CS, and of course that first blood gold. You could imagine potential Phage, and maybe even that Sheen already completed based on how much gold he has. Doesn't quite have enough, but he's actually deciding to hang around as that lane gets shoved in.
Yeah, Sivir obviously has the ability to shove in those waves very early. Used all his mana here as Candy, so we'll back away. Corki probably wants to shop and get that really big burst of power. It's usually the Phage and the Sheen that are completed first, because then you have so much trading. You can orb walk with the Phage movement speed, get that extra phosphorus bomb in, the big burst of damage coming in is usually the ideal. But I mean, back timings are pretty static. You have to take the back when you have the chance and when the minions break appropriately.
Yeah, and with a little bit of an awkward gold situation, I really like that he decides to finish off that Sheen so that he can continue dominating that lane and really put the pressure down, because that Sheen just allows you to follow up your Phosphorus Bomb with so much extra burst damage in these trades, and Candy will probably prefer to be attacking more consistently on the Sivir.
And you might do a double take and say, all right, but Sivir can spell shield the Phosphorus Bomb, so why go for the Sheen? But you have to remember, close to level 6 right here, has such a short spammable cooldown on that rocket that you will still get the relevant phage procs off. And if you can force the Sivir to spell shield a rocket, that's when you can confirm that phosphorus bomb damage. So you just have more options when you pick up the Sheen first on Corki.
Oh, Kitties. Going for the hook, but Candy with swift fingers on that spell shield able to block that one away, but it is going to be on cooldown for the next 20 or so seconds. And IG have an opportunity to go in. Dreams made his way around the side, does have level 6, that Assault and Battery is available. But, of course, Rookie playing back very far, more than happy just to farm from range. And he's only a couple of CS behind, but it's going better in a lane that he chose for himself.
Yeah, we're watching the waves break right here. Of course, Vi's looking for that Assault and Battery target. Her big power spike in terms of ganking has come in. In bottom lane, actually, Kid's taking a lot of damage right here. He has to be careful.
Yeah, actually must have taken a few of, maybe even a Dark Binding there on the bottom side. We will never know, but Candy able to get back into this lane, and this is not what we were expecting after that first blood situation. Corki able to capitalize very well on early leads, but not quite managing it this time as Candy's had some intelligent play and some nice poke onto Kitties there as well.
And I'll have to speculate, but I'd guess that just having the extra pushing ability coming out from the Tormented Soil to accentuate the pickaxe damage here just allowed them to push in, and they're just eating poke from the Dark Binding. We saw Love CD hit one just then. He's been pretty on the mark with those. And even though he doesn't have the BF sword at the par time you'd expect, just getting that pushing help from Morgana as they transition towards Dragon.
Yeah, Dreams is taken down very, very low, though, as that AoE to come through from Dragon. Oh my goodness, Dreams almost dying from that rocket from Kid. So they head round the side, and that is going to be the Dragon stopped here for M3. Nice spell shield. Block out that rocket damage from Candy. And failed dive attempt onto Looper in that top side as well.
Yeah, I watched that one. It was the nice kick initiate coming out from Kakao, but so on point with the self-frozen tomb right there. Was able to disengage, no kill given away, and a lot committed to the top gank.
Yeah, Kakao going to be heading back now. Knows that Dragon is an option here for M3 and needs to make sure that they solidify this vision. Rookie, in fact, is heading down towards that Dragon area now just to grab some vision. You know exactly what this Vi is going to be doing. Dream's still very, very low, going to be heading back to base now. Might be able to at least finish that Brutalizer. Actually completes the item here. The Warrior Enchantment already taken, so a nice burst of damage from this Vi, and you can imagine that Dragon might be a big option as Kids gets caught by the Dark Binding, and Candy takes a few too many turret hits.
Yeah, both Warrior Enchantments completed, so you have to think that dueling is the name of the game right here. Kakao has a very aggressive mindset at the best of times. That's why it's been so surprised to see him farming passively on these skirmish junglers like Lee Sin. But once he's got that power spike, you know that aggression in his mind is going to kick in again. He's going to be looking for a fight.
Yeah, and both of these junglers actually deciding to stick with that Trailblazer as well. Want to make sure that they have as much clear potential as possible as Dade can get a lot of work done to this turret. Kitties has discovered a pink ward, and Dade's going to be more than fine. Kitty's actually taking a lot of damage here. Dade.
I mean, you have to say it's a bit of a surprise to see Kakao go with the Trailblazer just because he was happy to use Chilling Smite on a champion and then go for the Baron, of course, without having any Smite available. We've jumped to 5.2. We do have the charge system in play here for the first time this weekend, the LPL. You can Chilling Smite people, Kakao, and still go for those buffs. So don't know why he's being so passive on that champion.
Yeah, he might actually just want to be farming way more here as our junglers, you know, decent farm score here, but not exactly anything to write home about, as you're exactly right. It might have been just a little bit uncharacteristic here from Kakao.
It's been such an extended laning phase. 11 minutes in, we've only seen the first blood come in, but the teleport down bottom.
Yeah, Looper actually trying to come in. The flash after that one as well. Dreams goes so deep with that Assault and Battery. The Frozen Tomb to come down, and Kitties gets focused a little bit late as Pokemon with the teleport follow-up as M3. They want to transition for a Dragon.
They changed targets right here, but Dragon is available. That's the big objective they're looking for with that over-engage on the Corki. Flashes down on the Corki, but are they in position to be able to contest this Dragon?
Dreams did take a fair bit of damage and, of course, doesn't have all that much mana here as well as Candy. All he wants to do is push out this wave and take advantage of Kitties being dead. But Invictus Gaming, they are down this bottom side. Dandy still in that mid lane, so Dragon control still going IG's way somehow.
Yeah, so even in the mid lane, just wave clearing all day. We saw a 35-minute first turret coming down the mid lane in this matchup. We might see it again, but the first Dragon might be falling to IG.
Yeah, Dreams after diving way too deep had to go back to base and heal up, and now looks like there won't be a contest coming through, and that's going to be the first dragon for IG. Really beautiful timing.
And worth noting that the first assault and battery and the teleport was used to pick up a pick, but because Dreams went too aggressively, they cannot translate that pick into a dragon. They've been out-rotated strategically quite a few times so far in the LPL here, M3, and unfortunately that's happened again.
It has this time, but of course early days in this game, and they have a lot of late game insurance, of course. That on the hunt, fantastic for getting your whole team into a fight. Looper on this Lissandra is going to be very difficult to lock down with all of that invulnerability, and Dade with the persistent damage of this Azir coming from this mid lane.
I mean, to me, it's definitely getting to the late game Pokemon Maokai. That's what they want to see. They want to see this Maokai evolve, get big, pick up that Rod of Ages, work it into the tanky items. He needs to get super strong as a frontline. They've done this strategy a few times here at IG, but it's all about Pokemon becoming the tanky beast at the frontline to shrug off the double magic damage solo laners from M3.
Yeah, Dade with a nice QE combo in order to get himself to his Sand Soldiers. But you're exactly right. The evolution of Pokemon to come through. No pun intended, of course, ladies and gentlemen, on that one.
The pun is fully intended there, Atlas. Come on now.
I like to say that it isn't, but you're entirely correct. I just love it. Dade going to be throwing some auto attacks here in this mid lane as well, and sort of not the action-packed game that we might have been expecting coming through from these guys, but they're holding back. And Pokemon wants to make something of it as Cacaw's come around here as well. The Frozen Tomb going to dodge out of the way of that one as he gets a nice snare and goes in aggressively. Does Looper as Dreams is coming through as well. IG have plenty of time to get out of this one as Dreams is a little bit slow, but nice aggressive play coming through from Looper. Oh, Assault and Battery actually under Pokemon. Flashes back underneath his turret, but Dade's there. Emperor's Divide for some style points, and right at the Arcane, going to find a couple of spots, but not really going to do too much as the Sonic Wave going to go wide here as well. Rookie now in an awkward position. They're going to be okay, but nice pick for M3.
I saw the quizzical look on your face when Looper aggressed and went in aggressively in a 1v2 situation. He did a lot of damage, but it's not the Rumble 1v2 we expect right there. I think it was actually IG respecting the fact that, okay, if he's positioning so aggressively, he must have some cavalry coming through. Of course, that was Dreams, who was quickly coming from the back right there. They were able to pick up the exit kill, but how much worse would it have been if trademark IG over-aggression came into play? The fact that they were measured there in that situation, to me, is an impressive strategical adaptation by IG.
And the red buff has actually been leashed up here by Cacao. Doesn't want to go too aggressive on that counter jungle because there is an Azir walking around that jungle, and Dreams was coming through as well. They're just going to take a Scuttle Crab, potentially set up the next dragon coming up in about 4 minutes. So that Scuttle Crab is going to wear out. Blue buff going to be started up, and Rookie wants to pick that one up, make sure that he can use those abilities to clear out these waves over and over again. Of course, CS very close in that mid lane. Athene's in response to the Morellonomicon. So wanting to have a little bit more magic resist is Dade.
And worth noting that, of course, moving to 5.2, Athene's relatively buffed compared to the Morellonomicon nerfs. And Cacao face checks Dade, takes a nice load of damage for his troubles.
Yeah, he does. Hasn't built up any of that resistance just yet as Rookie. Going to get a lot of harass down onto Dade. Arcane Pulse going to go wide, but has shown that with that Morellonomicon, this Xerath is doing some work.
And Pokemon's build also betrays IG's playstyle this game. They're looking to passively farm it out till that Rod of Ages finishes stacking, until he picks up a magic resist item, maybe even 2 magic resistance items here. Goes in on Candy. If they can blow up that target, the amount of magic resist you'd have there would be massive and they could win a fight. But again, they're setting up Pokemon for being the really big factor late in this game.
Yeah, Looper actually wants to protect this ward as he actually uses his ultimate here onto Pokemon. Pokemon are very tanky, man, with that Catalyst and Double Dorans, but may actually have to get out of this one as Looper is putting the pressure on. Misses the last Q there. The flash into the snare, and the final Q for the solo kill, and Pokemon not respecting the Lissandra damage.
Looper is turning it on this game, turning around an aggressive dive before to allow that Vi to pick up a kill, then playing very smart in the trade right there, had the flash up, knew that Pokemon didn't, and picked up the exit kill.
And this might be the new M3 strategy. Ban away the Gnar, and then Looper doesn't have to pick silly picks into it. And he can just play things like Lissandra that he can obviously just outplay his opponents on.
And we've been waiting so long for Looper, just like Dade, who we mentioned earlier, but Looper as another person, he's a former world, I mean, he's the current reigning world champion top laner. Okay, he had a wonderful team at his side, but Looper is a very good top laner on his own. In fact, at Worlds, we were so surprised to see the Akali come at him, for him to show extra parts of his champion pool and integrate that so well into the team playstyle. He's tried that again this season. The Annie hasn't worked. Bringing back the Kennen hasn't worked. But going back onto a more standard meta pick, you see some flashes of just why Looper is a very respected top laner.
And now he has that 40% CDR here as well, so has those Lucidity boots built up on top of that Morellonomicon. Pokemon's passive not going to be doing as much work once he's at that low health bar. And 1, 0, and 2 now for this Lissandra, ahead by about 20 CS as he heads back into this lane. Sapling going to clear it out here for Pokemon as well, but Pokemon's probably not too worried about being 0-2 at this stage. He just wants to scale through into that late game and become that tanky Maokai that he loves to be.
Still going to be a very delayed Rod of Ages coming out. He had to go back, pick up some magic resist. Still 200 gold away from that. It's going to be a 20-minute Rod of Ages, you'd have to say. He'll be happy that Cacal's picked up basically a snowball Aegis right here. The extra 20 magic resist against double AP will be very important, and Sivir takes the turret in bottom lane.
Yeah, a bit of a trade there on the bottom side of the map as the bottom turret went down in favor of Invictus Gaming just before. But the dragon is what's on everyone's mind at this stage. IG wanting to grab some vision around that one. It has respawned. And Kid just clearing out this wave in order to reset that one, as well as Candy's going to head back down to that bottom side. But everyone milling about. Teleports are available from both of our top laners. No flashes from either of them. So Flash Bros and Tomb not going to be starting anything up here after that Glacial Path.
Sandra definitely has the decisive item advantage in top. It's just how much work can Cacal do both disengage and Aegis, and he's in trouble.
He's definitely in trouble. There's the Vault Breaker, the Assault and Battery, the lockdown for so long from M3, and they get rid of the jungler, but it's not over. Kitty's getting focused here on the bottom side. It's a beautiful buff. The flash over from Candy, and he finishes him off. In fact, Dreams with that denting blow takes that one down. And M3, this is a new team that we're seeing today.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, the rotations coming out there are wonderful to see. Pokemon actually cancelled his teleport, realizing he could have no impact that fight whatsoever. They get the answering dragon right here. And M3's rotations, something that we've criticized routinely during the LPL, have been on point.
This is beautiful play coming out from M3, and they've been obviously looking at their plays, looking at what has not worked for them, and adjusted accordingly. It's beautiful to see as Dade still able to farm up a treat here in this mid lane. About 10 CS in the lead, has got a pair of Mercury's Treads as well, so not going to be taking too much damage from Rookie, and that lockdown from the stun not going to be lasting.
It's not something reflected in the schedule, but in the standings, sorry, but the schedule, you know, that 7 days to kind of retool, to sit down, to watch VODs, to watch the other teams, work out what was working and what wasn't working for M3. At least the first 20 minutes, obviously we can't speculate too much. This game in the late game could definitely go IG's way. It's been a much more impressive early game performance from M3 compared to the first 4 weeks of the LPL.
Oh yeah, and it looks like IG are looking to Kid to really carry them through this one.
I mean, look, Kid's Corki has been super on point in the LPL. They're very good at grouping around his power spikes, but after that quick trade in the bottom lane right here, you can see why they're not pushing the trigger. Of course, they're having to group. The waves are being pushed in by Sivir. It's harder for Corki to group with his team if Sivir's hard pushing the bottom lane, but the power spike has come in the mid game, so they probably have to get on and take advantage of that big Corki.
We were talking before about Pokemon being a little bit behind. 20 minutes is exactly right here, as you mentioned, for that Rod of Ages to come through. So it's going to be 30 minutes before that one is fully stacked up, and it's a very slow Rod of Ages and a little bit dangerous here on the side of IG as Dreams looking for a potential dive here. But not going to come through as Rookie and Kitties are hanging around. Arcana Pulse finds Dade mid-E. Going to try and clear out this wave. Blue buff trying to top up his mana, but he's very low, and there are many M3 members. The hook lands onto Dade, though. Flayed back as well, flashed out. There's the Everest Divided. Look at Looper coming through with so much damage. The Assault and Battery to come down as well. Dade getting so much consistent work done in this fight as Dreams is so far up. Pokemon finds his way in around the side, but Cacao, he's looking for it. Rookie, oh, Dreams, the last bolt, and he's going to fall down. A 2 for 2. But the turret falls as well here for M3.
M3 are able to make something out of that despite Dade being so aggressively picked in the mid lane. The Emperor's Divide stopped any potential engage. So for them to come up with a 2 for 2 after that engage, M3 will take it, but worrying times there for IG. We're going to see the replay coming out right here. The hook comes in. That should be an instant kill on Dade, because the Emperor's Divide controls so much space. Looper's really smart with his ult right there, and Dade can still influence this fight despite falling to the AoE right there. It's still very even. There's still not too much to take from that fight, and Kakao is completely split from his team. You can see it right there. The ult from downtown. I mean, Xeraths across the board in the LPL have been impressive, and Rookie's no different.
Oh, most definitely not. He's fantastic on that champion, able to lock it down, of course. Missed the first couple of shots, but when you've got one last hit from Dead, best out of 3 is pretty good odds here.
A buzzer beater, I reckon, right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kid now going to be clearing out this bottom side. Candy looking for that wave to head back towards him. Of course, as a Sivir, just want to be clearing waves at all times. Is Dade going to get aggressive onto Kiddies here? And Rookie going to clear out that pink ward there as well. His backline minions now falling very quickly to the Death Cap Morellonomicon Xerath here in this mid side. He's got so much damage, and as a Xerath, he's very safe.
And the timings are so interesting here for IG because they kind of have a dual identity. They've got Kid here. He's got the Trinity Force. He's now very close to the Bloodthirster on top of the Sorcerer's Shoes. He's hit his mid-game power spike, and they need to capitalize on that. But they also need to be buying time for the Rod of Ages to stack for Pokemon. So it's almost a case of using the wave clear from Rookie, trying to pressure turrets with Kid, and just buy time for Maokai to outscale this Lissandra naturally and just become a huge team fight presence. It's not 30 minutes yet, that it doesn't have the big magic resist item completed yet, so they just have to buy time for Pokemon.
Just not quite able to get up there yet. We do have the Zhonya's Hourglass completed from Looper as well. 40% CDR and double stasis for this Lissandra. The perfect moment to really dictate these fights. Only going to get stronger from this point on. Dade going to keep clearing out these waves. Dragon up in another minute and a half, and it looks like Invictus Gaming actually wanted to head back to base, pick up some items, make sure that they are as strong as possible for that one. But Kiddies, he's got caught on the hunts there, and Candy going to be donated that kill and just backing in the wrong place.
Yeah, IG were being very, very lax with their back places because M3 have traditionally been underwatered in their brushes, but they were overwatered there. They were able to pick up the exit kill. Dade takes a nice burst of damage. But M3, they're looking really, really good here. And we talked about their lack of frontline. We're like, all right, Vi's going to dive in. Who's going to help her out? We got 5 seconds of stasis from Lissandra, and then another 2.5 seconds of stasis from Azir. We've seen excellent Azir play, splitting teams aggressively when you have that reset button with the stasis. So 3 foam dive champions coming out of M3.
Yeah, and M3 have pulled ahead here as well. As far as that gold is concerned, 4,000 gold in the lead, have got a turret advantage as well. And really able to dictate pace of this game, using Candy really effectively to put pressure on all the lanes. Right of the Arcane's going to come through. He's looking for Dade, but no vision.
And with 30 seconds left, Dade will be slow to get to this dragon, but M3 should be able to contest it. The dragons are all tied up here, 1-1 each. IG have the Corki. They have the mid-game picks right here, so they want to capitalize and take this next dragon.
Oh yeah, and look at these mid laners as well. The farm is so close, and it's on the clock here as well. Both of these players just able to farm out every minion that they have the opportunity to get, and we'll see what this is going to mean for the later stages, because this is going to be a powered-up Xerath and a powered-up Azir.
Yeah, wave clear essential, definitely the order of the day for both mid laners right here. The Bloodthirster is a big pickup coming out of Corki right here. I definitely take the Bloodthirster Trinity for Sorcerer's Shoes Corki over the Infinity Edge Static Shiv Candy right here. So a lot of burst damage coming out here. But again, it's all about Pokemon trying to get and influence these fights, because Lissandra is powered up.
Yeah, 4 members strong here of M3 though, and they're just going to smash down this dragon. Second one picked up all too easily here for M3. No vision available for Invictus Gaming, and they were just caught in rotation.
Yeah, they were caught in rotation, but it could just be that, again, they're trying to buy time for Maokai to power up. The second dragon's not a huge one. It's just, again, giving you position on the third dragon. So if they can take the answering top turret and, again, buy time for Maokai's Rod of Ages to stack up, perhaps that's the better use of their time than going for an uncompetitive dragon.
Yeah, but it's actually going to be the Soul Shackles popped here in the mid lane as well. Love City's going to have that one broken immediately. And the On the Hunt popped as well. So M3 with a lot of cooldowns down. And IG, we'll see whether they're able to capitalize here, as the turret does fall.
I think M3 realized it was a 5v3 situation, seeing Corki and Maokai pushing up top. Tried to get a pick, but of course the Soul Shackles did fizzle right there, and no reward for that use.
Invictus Gaming confused as to why there's an enemy turret so far up. Going to wander around and check out this Baron, and it looks like that's going to be the decision here for Invictus Gaming, noticing that everyone on M3 is back, and look at this 5.2 Baron just melt in the hands of Invictus Gaming. And M3, they had no idea. They're not used to the Baron being this weak at this stage, and that was an easy Baron for Invictus Gaming.
IG have always been an innovation-heavy team. They've always been trying to push the advantages of new patches, and they've caught on to the balance chains you mentioned at the start of this broadcast to a T right there. You would never expect a team to even attempt a Baron in that situation. 5 members alive, could have potentially been wards around the pit. They rush it down and take it easily.
Yeah, and this Baron just not the same as it used to be, and Invictus Gaming take it so handily and so quickly that there was no time for M3 to react. Dark Binding does land onto Kakao here, but he's not going to be too worried about that one. Now has a Giant's Belt and that Locket of the Iron Solari here as well. Very important item for Invictus Gaming when there is all of this consistent magic damage coming through from M3. But
you buy yourself important minutes to power up. You have so many minutes of power with this Baron buff, with all the minions being empowered right here, that you buy time for Maokai again to get big. You can group with the Corki power spike, but you can't initiate on this Baron up. IG, you see Dreams thinking about going in. It's a fair Vi right here, but has to back away.
Yeah, and Dade actually getting aggressed on, and Love City just gets destroyed as Rookie takes her out on the backside. And my goodness, the Soul Shackles went off. Love City tried to make something happen, but just wasn't able to. As Kid, he's going to tear through this turret with that Trinity Force.
And a pick means so much when you have the Baron buff, because of course the minions push so much harder. Outnumbered against the Baron buff. They might lose a second mid turret here. It lasted 28 minutes, but this second one's going to go right down.
Yeah, and they make the power play at the 29-minute mark. Pokemon just about to have that Rod of Ages completely stacked. That Spirit Visage almost completed here as well, and this Maokai's getting to his Immortal stage.
Yeah, exactly. Once you see that Spirit Visage come through, the Immortal stage will begin. And it's going to be the flavor of outscaling coming through from M3, you have to say. It's very competitive between the AD carries, but a bursty top laner like Lupa just will not have the same teamfight impact, barring getting really on top of Vision and getting a really important pick.
Yeah, and it's becoming less important that Candies hit these item power spikes. Of course, this 3-item spike, fantastic for Sivir, but he just can't do anything against the range of Rookie, who's just focusing him down. And when you've got one spell shield, yeah, it's great, but when you've got multiple spells hitting you from massive range, and he's got huge items here, as we see the damage from that ultimate to come through as he finds Lupa with a couple of them.
I mean, the issue is
just so difficult.
And they've got a dive comp. That's what we come back to. They got a dive comp against a Maokai can always deal with those 500 range AD carries and so much AoE magic damage coming out. So, I mean, Sivir's really not set up to succeed in this situation. She's kind of caught in the middle. And can, on the hunt will be important for the divers to reach their targets, but her damage in a fight, I'm going to be very surprised to see her as one of the highest damage dealers in the team, because she's going to super struggle with the 500 range.
And could it be a little bit disappointing, just the kill distribution coming through from M3 here? Dreams picking up 4 out of the 8 kills for his team, and on a jungler, you don't really want to have that level of resources, do you?
And it's a very dive-heavy champion. In another game, it would be big for them, but they just, with an AD carry that can't get to the backline, it's a big problem, as you say.
Oh, Dreams actually gets caught with the hook. That was beautiful from IG. They take him down immediately here as Candy getting rocketed from the backside. On the hunt has been popped. The flash hook to come through from Kitties, but the Dark Binding in response from Love CD was beautiful, and Invictus Gaming just traveling around this map and pressuring everything.
The predictive hook from Kitties was massive right there, and all Chinese bottom lane completely on point in terms of communication right there. They rotate to the mid lane. Dade has to be careful.
Certainly does, as this inner turret, it's already fallen down. Of course, Dade can make a Sun turret if he wants to try and prolong this, but Invictus Gaming utilizing this Baron to great effect. Has now worn off, and we'll see whether M3 are going to be a little bit more careful as far as leaving that Baron up than they were prior.
And the Spirit Visage is completed right here, sitting on 800 gold, so the Warden's Mail is completed as well. This Maokai is definitely fully powered up at this point. It's only gravy on top right here, as he's got all the meat of his items.
Oh yeah, that Frozen Heart going to be coming through very soon as well. Wants to get as much cooldown reduction as possible so he can twistedly advance onto everyone. M3 now sort of relegated to their own jungle. Look at the warding, so aggressive from Invictus Gaming. Does leave M3 a little bit invisible on this map at this stage, as the Dragon going to be coming up in 7 seconds. And Invictus Gaming, you have to think, want to pressure for this one.
M3 are very aggressively positioned right here. They still want to compete. There isn't a big gold lead between these two teams. Their Baron buff is faded. If they get the perfect pick, maybe they can win a fight.
What's actually going to be the ultimate pop from Rookie, just to try and get some preliminary damage down, but M3 going to dodge out of all of them as Vault Breaker's being charged here by Dreams. And Invictus Gaming setting themselves up to put down this siege. Look at the poke damage that they have coming through, the rockets, the Arcano pulses to come through as well. But Dade able to take control of an area very effectively, especially with Candy as well. These boomerang blades coming across, but the Dragon has been started here. Invictus Gaming are hanging around the side. Looper coming from the backside, flashes forward as well, looks for the Frozen Tomb. Oh my goodness, just destroying Rookie in the backside as Kid's now the focus. He's going to die as well. It's a double kill for Candy already. Kakao wonders where the hell to go as Dade solo, but Kakao picks up the kill. Beautiful play. Pokemon now with nowhere to go, and M3 looking to make this a 3-for-1. Fantastic play from these guys, and no Dragon even went down.
And you asked the question, are they unhappy about the gold going onto the jungler? Dreams lived so long through so much magic damage right there, was able to get on top of Rookie, and for once the artillery coming out of Xerath was completely negated by the dive from Looper and Dreams right there. So the powered up Vi got them the pick they were looking for, and they won the fight.
And do you think it's a little bit of an oversight not to build that Zhonya's Hourglass early on here against that Assault and Battery, against the sort of lockdown potential coming through from a Vi?
It's that whole question of, if you're the Xerath, you're expecting to be 1,000 range plus at the back of a fight. You expect to, during the middle to end of a fight, be using your ultimate. Because they'd used the ultimate for zoning, he was kind of lost in no man's land. We'll see from the replay right here. Dreams takes a big burst of damage, but the cameraman doesn't catch it. They do go completely all in on Rookie. He dies in the back with some, even Candy flashes forward for the order right there. Kid also has got a no man's land, and you have to question, where is Pokemon during all of this? He is not peeling for his team. They're able to take down the backliner of Dade, but Pokemon needs to be protecting his carries because they got assassinated there.
Yeah, and Looper just with the perfect positioning. Glacial Path through that Baron, flashes over the wall and gets a fantastic ultimate to start the fight where they are. But Love CD gets torn apart from over the wall. Brilliant warding for Invictus Gaming, and Kiddies, he's been on point with these hooks.
Baron buff is up. You see the minions are pushing in the top lane as well. There is a nice stack of minions pushing for M3, so globally the map pressure is about the same, but I think M3 have to contest here.
They certainly have to, because that Baron was so well utilized by Invictus Gaming before. IG starting this one up the box very early put down here as Dade gets the Emperor's Divide happening through it, and Pokemon trying to get through to the backside, but Dreams this time gets destroyed. Dade Zon uses himself, but it's not enough, and IG, they turn around and take the Baron here as well. Only Candy alive, and he just wasn't in that fight to get the consistent damage.
Super different team fight right there. The difference when Maokai is playing around their carries. Dreams went in, he's still that farmed, he's still that tanky vibe, but there was no divers next to him there. Lissandra couldn't get the Frozen Tome on Rookie, actually dies with the ultimate available right there, and it was Candy flashing in to get the auto that took down Rookie the first time. Candy was a complete non-factor in that fight.
Yeah, he's actually just going to try and push out this bottom wave, but look at this turret falling down so quickly by these gigantic creeps. Invictus Gaming all just going to empowered recall back to base. Not wanting to pressure this inhibitor just yet, as Dade just about to respawn and everybody else is alive. And now Invictus Gaming, they have definitely some time to really consolidate their lead and not make any mistakes, which you have to say that last team fight was.
And coming back to that Zhonya's pickup, it looks like it's going to go for a Zhonya's 4th item right here, but because you have so much range of Xerath, it's actually even taken the defensive summon choice in Cleanse right here. You have to trust your position, so I think you double down on the damage. It's different when it's Azir, where you want to go into the middle of a fight, split a team with that Emperor's Divide. Having the stasis is so important. Also a faux frontliner to go with this no true tank M3 comp. But as Xerath, you have to trust your range.
He does, but he has managed to pick up that Zhonya's now, backed for it very quickly, that empowered recall. And now looking at the bottom side of the map are Invictus Gaming. They want to really solidify their Baron control by taking down this inhibitor if they can. And we'll see whether the Baron is going to be enough to crack the base of M3, who have so much defensive potential, but if IG try and dive, especially with Pokemon, it might be a little bit too much for them with all of these Baroned up creeps.
And since dive has been the word that we've associated with this Viscomp right here, what are they going to do if they focus Rookie once again and he goes into stasis? They'll be able to peel for the stasis up champion and get the kill.
Goodness. Triple siege minions here for Invictus Gaming. There's Ride of the Arcane to come through. Doesn't land many, but he's zoning everyone as these inhibitors are falling down. Dreams gets caught up by Kitties, but not going to go aggressive because all they want are these objectives, and Invictus Gaming playing this late game beautifully.
And Dream's options are so limited for Engage right here. We already saw what happened when he tried to ultimate a Valkyrie and Corki in the bottom lane, overextended and died. Rookie has been his target in every fight, but the stasis negates that Vi ultimate, and suddenly M3's team comp, it just does nothing compared to this Baroned up IG.
It certainly seems to be dissolving at this stage. There's another couple of great sets starting this fight. Luca flashing into that Frozen Tomb. Empress Divide not going to do too much there in the front line as Dade just going to Zhonya's himself up. Lupa already dead though. Candy gets Mikhail's, tries to get out of here as Ranyon's being used by Dreams, but M3 started off the fight and didn't manage to get anything.
Yeah, M3 used their flash Frozen Tomb, not respecting the Mikhails that Kitties already has, completely negated that cooldown, died in the front line, and the fight's on.
Yeah, there's the flash to advance. Dade gets destroyed, and Dreams is now the focus as the Phosphorus bombs to come through here as well. M3 just milling about. They have no idea what to do against this massive Invictus Gaming lineup. As two dead, they're two carries, and Invictus Gaming looking to take this one home. Two inhibitors down now, and not looking great for M3.
Yeah, the minion waves in top and bottom are pushing to their advantage as well. There's so little wave clear alive right now. Between Azir, the Sandra, and Siva, you have so much wave clear, but two of them dead, so they're going to have just a job trying to keep these Baroned up minions away. And M3, they were looking good. Their dive was working, but the Zhonya's, as you mentioned, it kind of negates the fed Dreams right here, and they're just dying in the crossfire to all this AoE damage on IG's side.
Yeah, we can see Dreams unable to pick up any more kills for himself at this stage, forced to build that tanky route. And Candy, he's going to head back to base, picking up as many items as he can. This is a 4-item Siva, 4, 1, and 5. A fantastic scoreline here. Now has eclipsed Kid on that farm at the same time. But it's just so hard for him to break through the front line of Invictus Gaming.
The crazy thing is that his impact is more felt in his utility ultimate than in his items, just because, as you say, Pokemon goes in, tries to corral Candy, he'll do relatively little damage to that tanky Maokai, and the damage is just not spreading to the other carries. They're positioned well right there. No one's eating ricochet damage, and again, even with the QSS right here, he basically has to do the one team fight where Candy was really effective. He had to flash and get that last auto onto this Xerath. He is realistically never going to do any damage to Rookie in a fight.
Going to be difficult, especially considering the item pickups here. We've spoken about that Zhonya's a lot, but it's very important for Rookie. If he gets focused, pops that one, the rest of his team takes care of the fight, and he's still there to get all of that extra damage down. Now we do have a Banshee's Veil coming through from Kid as Dreams gets caught out by Invictus Gaming. Kid using that Valkyrie very aggressively. Ride of the Arcane going to find a couple of bolts here as well. The Resonating Strike, and Dreams just gets melted. Kid picks up that kill, and the jungle is dead. Free dragon for IG.
Yeah, I mean, Dreams was trying to solo that dragon unbeknownst to IG, but of course they had the wards down. They pick him up trying to back right here. They pick up, what was that, their second dragon? So the dragon's not been an objective they focused on this game, but the two Barons more than make up for that.
Oh yeah, trading that third dragon, for their first Baron earlier on, and M3 unable to have that level of control from that point onward. Rookie clearing out this wave easy as you like, and IG taking their time, going tutorial style with this one, looking for the top turret in that top side of the map.
Just like to see the adaptation of just keeping away from this Siva pick, especially when there's so many AoE sources of damage, because when you're 500 range, you have to get those autos in. Siva's all about chasing. She has, of course, the ultimate, the On the Hunt, but also the Fleet of Foot to close distance. You can't close distance when you're eating your whole health bar in AoE magic damage, and that's the issue facing Candy right here. 415, 411 CS. How many times do you see a 400 plus CS 80 carry completely irrelevant in fights?
Oh my goodness, and 2 bolts of that Ride of the Arcane, and Candy's chunked down to half health there. Trying to siege this one down, but with a Corki it's relatively difficult, and Dade able to clear out these waves very effectively. And M3, they hold on for now, but you have to think that these inhibitor lanes are going to be pushing in for Invictus Gaming, and it's only a matter of time before it's overwhelming the base.
Another new factor to their game that Invictus Gaming showed last week was side minion wave control. We see a massive wave pushing into the bot lane right here. It's pretty even in the mid lane, but of course the minions are starting to push aggressively there as well. The whole map is working against M3.
Yeah, and it looks like M3, they have to engage now or they're going to lose their base. The super creeps heading through here as well. Half the health on this inhibitor turret. The wave is quite a way away here for Invictus Gaming. The inhibitor does respawn on that bottom side. It has to be protected as there are still super creeps in the base for M3. But no one going to head down there as Invictus Gaming. They're going to head to the Baron. They're going to pick up their final one of the game. You have to think and then try and push down this map. But M3, they've shown definite signs of life this game. And if they get the dream team fight, things may work out. And I think it's really hinging on Lupa managing to lock down the right targets as M3. They don't want to give this one up without a fight.
Yeah, we're going to see the fight maybe start here. On the hunt's already used.
Boomerangs are trying to find their targets. They're just milling about here. The rockets come through. There's the Arcano Pulse as well. Some poke damage coming through on the side of M3 here as well. Right of the Arcane looking for Dade. Finds a couple of bolts, but he's got a decent amount of magic resist swap with those 2 items. Ooh, popping the Locket of the Iron Solari here. Dreams, he wants to go in. He wants to make something happen. Twisted Advance gets used on him in the front line. But, oh my gosh, Lupa over the backside. The Frozen Tomb to come down as well. Not managing to pick up any kills. Everyone's still alive on this one. There are low health bars. Candy picks up the first kill. That's Kid going down. Rookie picks up Lupa. They trade a 1-for-1 so far. Pokemon is so low though. And Dade in Love City also about to die. And everyone has to back away.
IG's trademark aggression from yesteryear really did not pay dividends for them there. Kid actually went in aggressively with his Valkyrie and was focused down by 3 members of M3. There was no need for him to go for the assassination on a low health Dade. He was completely trolled by the Zhonya's activation right there and died needlessly in the front line. Corki can be sitting at the back doing magic damage. He has a strong tanky front line. Why is he trying to get assassination kills?
It's not really working out for him. He has finished off that Infinity Edge now. This is a 6-item Corki. Kid is being relied on very heavily for a lot of the damage as Dade will be forced to use that WE in order to get away as Kiddy's just going to get punched here. There's the Assault Battery actually onto him as Candy comes through with the On The Hunt Pokemon. A very tanky man, and Kiddy's, even he's going to survive.
But once the On The Hunt runs out here, they have used their primary engage tool for the Xerath on a support. The support's still alive, and if another teamfight comes in, you have to think this Xerath is going to be completely free in the back wave.
Oh, the teleport coming through from Lupa. Pokemon doesn't have his just yet. The Miracle Steal from Cacao, and he takes the Baron. Rookie's going to Zhonya's himself up after getting Frozen Tomb. There's the Emperor's Divide. He manages to get the kill. Dade takes so much damage, though. Look at the AoE from Invictus Gaming as Kid belts his way to safety. Dade at such low health. Cacao, oh, the beautiful Zhonya's there, but Kid, he tears Candy apart and picks up Dade as well. The ace here for Invictus Gaming.
The steal was wonderful from Cacao. Using those Lee Sin mechanics he's been famed for to massive effect. It's Kid and Cacao alive right there, but Kid at the back of the fight is so much more different to Kid trying to get the assassination. 6-item Corki doing great damage in the late game, and that might be it.
That was a quadra kill for Kid as they're going to follow these Baroned up creeps into the base. The death timers are huge here for M3, and Kid and Cacao going to take down game 1. And IG, they were put to the test here by M3, and we'll see whether M3 can bounce back in game 2 because this one's all IG this time.
M3 have to be credited for the early game strides. They were on point in terms of early game tactics, but their comp just could not stand up to IG's in the late game, the Sivir especially. When she was able to free hit people was doing damage, but you're never going to free hit people when Maokai with 40% CDR is in your face. And unfortunately for Candy, that game was largely irrelevant.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. You have to think that, you know, it's just a little bit too hard. Lupa had one of the best games of his life, and M3 unable to capitalize on that one. It might be the draft phase here that could be the problem.
There's so many close fights. We're going to get a replay right here. Hopefully we get to see one of the big fights in this game. We're right towards the end right here. So we're gonna roll the tape. M3 have tried to Zerg down the Baron. Of course, they've already used Assault and Battery at this point, so you know that Rookie is so much safer in this fight compared to the others. The steal from Kakao is excellent right here. They're still actually able to get onto Rookie, so I take that back. But look at the difference in fights when you focus on Kid in the backline. We saw Kid assassinated in the previous fight, but he has so many tanky members. Pokemon and Kakao have huge health stats that Kid is able to free hit in the back of this fight. Although the tanks fall low, it doesn't matter when you have a 6-item Corki. The Quadra